Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the opening bell. Good to be with you. Before we get started, remember the information we discuss in this video is opinion and should not be construed as advice in any way. A warm welcome to you guys. A warm welcome to you. Ashley Reeve here. And it is 9:02 at the moment. All right, let's get cracking on today's market. So first things first, ladies and gentlemen, just maybe looking at the main market drivers here this morning. Obviously, we know the Middle East conflict is obviously still in and resuming. They are pushing the oil prices higher. You're getting a lot of chain reactions with the inflation there. Nothing different from what we've been chatting about, really. All right, we got the oil going up, meaning inflation is also going up. And central banks are still staying, hawkish on that one. Also, there's no cuts or possible hikes that, one can say, listen, this is exactly what's happening. We saw the Australian economy, hike their rates because of the oil price. And I mean, from the angle of having to do it, they sure do. Oil prices, with them going up, it affects everything. All right, everything as we know it. We see the U.S. A little bit different there. Obviously, they have so much oil on their side, and so they have not decided to hike their rates. They are remaining steady and unchanged. This has given the dollar a bit of strength there. We saw it come through, and so we're seeing a lot of pressure on the metals. We're seeing that there's an overall impact of markets that are tight and cautious, but the focus right now is inflation and interest rates, and obviously the war and the oil development. So let's maybe just have a look quickly at some of these here. AUD USD, guys, from a daily perspective, I mean, we are pretty bullish here in terms of the chart here, right? So we can see that's happening. However, there's a lot of exhaustion that's also in here. There's a lot of exhaustion that's also kicked in, all right? We can clearly see it, from price there. We're going up, but here we're going down on the RSI. So there's a lot of strength that's come in to the sellers. And we could put a trend line here now, obviously, from there to there. And obviously look at whether price could possibly, push to the downside, possibly to the 68 cents there. And we'll be dealing with some of this in the trading room this afternoon, so you don't want to miss that. That's at 2 o'clock. So we'll be dealing with this. I'm not going to go into detail now, but we will be dealing with this in the afternoon. All right, more so at 2 o'clock via YouTube. All right, and I'll be looking at seeing some strength possibly down there with the dollar strengthening. All right. And that's the AUD USD. BTC USD, guys. Bitcoin, the cryptocurrency, as mentioned, guys, at some point there will be a bit of movement into more of the crypto. We've obviously pushed out up from a 63 level, $63,000 there to a 75. And we are now correcting here. Looks like the dollar strength is also pushing in back again. So let's see what happens at the 68,746 per Bitcoin. Let's see what let's see if there's any bounce there to possibly go higher. We'll be checking this one out moving forward, guys. It's looking good, though. I know there's many guys that are looking to get into the crypto again, but just be alarmed. On the other side of the coin, we have a previous pattern where we had a low and we had a lower high, and then we pushed down again, and the same thing is happening now. So we actually just between two worlds. All right, so we once again another lower low, there's a lower high. So we at a critical point here. If we bounce from here and we go up, we extend to the upside, and if not, if we continue to the downside, you can see there's some more leeway down to get to around 52,000. All right, for the bit. But we're going to have to wait and see on this one. We're not there yet. There's not enough data to give us an indication of whether we are pushing. We've not broken structure yet. Even if you look at it from a weekly perspective, we have not broken this structure yet for us to say we are going down to the 50,000 mark yet. All right. And then obviously gold, guys, we are anticipating gold to go down to $4,647 per ounce with the dollar strengthening yesterday based on the unchanged interest rates. We're seeing price push to the downside here, weakening the a gold price. But obviously, that's for now. That's for now. That's for now. All right, that's just for now. On a much higher time frame, you can see that it is just a correction that's taking place, a deeper correction at that. All right, so we've created a high. Correction is taking place, and we're anticipating to go to that area. If it breaks there, we could go further down to 4,300. But at this point, we're at 4,700. So we're going to see how that goes. I'll be tackling this one in the in the trading room this afternoon as well. And then we got the oil price. Needless to say, guys, here we've really been looking at the oil price. We said in the beginning of the week, we're looking at the $103 per barrel, and you can see it's now done that. What's important about the oil, guys, is that it's going to continue to climb. All right, seeing as there's no peace within the strait, it still remains volatile. We're going to continuously see the oil price push to the upside, and we're anticipating around $113 this week. Let's see if it actually pushes it till there. We have today and tomorrow, and then obviously from a more monthly perspective, oil prices can go even higher, guys. We can actually go to the 131. So, but the only thing that I'm looking at is that, based on structure, we must also put that into context. Every time there's a new high, there's a correction that takes place. So 113 might be the high where we stop and reject again. And I want you to think of it in terms of monthlies. All right, it's March now. All right, we're already on 19th. We got about 10 to let's say 12, around 12 or 13 days left, all right, of the month. So come the month of April, there's a very, very high probability that this high, all right, is invalidated for March, and then April we start to see a correction. So we see prices return once again to be pushed a little bit higher. So let's not take that out of the equation when you look at structure. All right, structure is exactly that. You may see the incremental movement right now because this is just the high that was there. We're just going back to the high again. And so from a monthly perspective, all right, it is the month of March that all of this happened. Do not forget that it's the whole month of March. So we might get a correction in April, taking prices back down to the 96, maybe the 101, and then pushing up again, all right, to the 130. That's obviously dependent on whether the strait gets opened. And if there is more alliances that are formed to do this, which I honestly think should be happening. There should be alliances that are happening to secure the strait because a lot of the Eastern Asian Pacific countries are obviously relying on the strait to be open. Otherwise, the cost of getting oil around, Africa is just insane. It's going to be through the roof. It's going to be insane. But at this point in time, the oil price is still high. All right. We'll be going through a few more, like the indexes, the NAS 100, the US 30 today as well at 2:00. So don't be absent. Make sure you're there. But for this morning, at least, we're seeing a stronger dollar come through on some of these assets here. I'm talking FX, I'm talking cryptocurrency, I'm talking commodities, the metals there, and obviously the oil price pushing a little bit further up. Yep. But that's it from me here this morning. For now, guys, see you guys at 2:00. All right, where there's 1,400 hours via YouTube. We'll be streaming the Trading Room live. Ashley Reeve here, guys. All right, such a pleasure, such a privilege. All right, bless you. Bye-bye.